Hi folks, welcome to TK Power Sports and another exciting news update. Today we're looking at the 2024 SeaDoo lineup, and there is more performance than ever, but maybe more importantly, the affordable model, the Spark, well, it is brand new for 2024, and we're going to go over all the details right now. SeaDoo is calling this the second generation Spark, and you can just see the styling differences. It's a little more smooth than the previous model, not quite as aggressive, kind of sharp looking, but I think it looks nice. Why don't you go in the comments and let me know what you think just about the styling. Now, yes, it looks different, but the overall sort of goal of the Spark has not changed, and that is to be a lightweight, affordable PWC, and it still is. But it also offers more now in terms of convenience features and luxury features, so let's go over those. The first thing you're going to notice is a new 4.5-inch digital gauge cluster. If you're in the Can-Am family, or if you've been on a Can-Am side-by-side or ATV lately, you're going to recognize this screen. They've plucked it off of those models and brought it over here to the Spark. But the Spark never had a nice screen like this before, so it's good to get all of that information on a nice looking LCD screen. There's an orange-red backlight, which offers good visibility in all lighting conditions. All Spark models now include an eco mode as well, so riders can maximize their fuel range, and that's also going to show up on that new digital gauge cluster. Before I go on the features, we have to talk about the engine, and this is one thing that has not changed for the second generation Spark. It is still powered by the Rotax 900 Ace, and it's going to offer two different outputs. Base models get the Ace 60, that has 60 horsepower and brings the Spark to a top speed of 41 miles per hour. And then you can step up to the Ace 90, of course with 90 horsepower, and that's going to power the Spark to a top speed of 50 miles per hour. Now let's keep going with those convenience features, and next is a new watertight glove box. So it has an updated design that has dedicated cell phone storage, which is large enough to fit most cell phones, and there's room for other personal belongings. So it's nice to have a dry spot to stash your stuff when you're out there on the water, and now the Spark has it. With the new design, SeaDoo says there is 30% more front storage space if you get the convenience package. Then you get the Link accessory storage, which is quick and simple to install on the Spark or on the Spark Trix model. Both Spark models can also now be customized with a bunch of new Link light accessories like docking fenders and camera mounts. So like usual, there's more accessories for you to customize your SeaDoo Spark and bring along those fun things like a GoPro with you. Another area that the second generation Spark looks to address is the ergonomics of the seat for loading and unloading and for riding. So SeaDoo says that the redesigned seating now has better knee locking areas, so it allows you to really use your legs to kind of squeeze the seat and make sure you can hold on. SeaDoo says that there are now smoother lines and a cleaner top hull design, and that has multiple integrated handhold locations to make reboarding even easier. So depending on where you're climbing up from, there's now going to be more spots to grab onto. Plus there's new textured footwells, and the rear swim platform has a new textured material on it that's going to improve grip when you're boarding or when you're out riding. So yes, it sounds like a bit more of a premium seating experience has also come here to the Spark. Another thing that has been updated is BRP's portable Bluetooth sound system. So there's now a 50-watt optional sound system which mounts right into the handlebars or just in front of the handlebars on your Spark. SeaDoo says that it now sounds better, the battery lasts longer. They say 24 hours at 50% volume on a sunny day. That's pretty long. And then it also has new modes. So you have a ride mode for when you're actually on the move, and then a home mode for when you're listening to music back home. And then yeah, best of all, you can pop this thing off, take it with you, and then when you're back on your SeaDoo, throw it back on the Spark and take off. That's a pretty neat feature, and again, nice to have those types of features at this price point. Now the model lineup for the Spark also stays the same, so you can get the Spark for 2 or the Spark for 3, so that's a 2-up or a 3-up model, and then you can get the Spark Trix. Now the Trix, as the name suggests, is all about doing fun maneuvers out on the water. And what it has is a jet that will adjust much further than on other PWCs. It allows you to get the nose right up and do those tail stands, which it's become pretty famous for. I've ridden the Spark Trix multiple times, and it's a ton of fun to do those water wheelies. Now for 2024, SeaDoo says that the extended range variable trim system has been updated to improve control to more easily initiate those tail stands. So popping the nose out of the water should be easier than ever. Then there's a new Trix mode, which unlocks tricks like reverse donuts and nose dives. So that sounds really interesting. And again, this has to be one of the most fun machines you can get on the market for such a small amount of money. And that's what SeaDoo's trying to provide here, something that's truly a blast, but not all that expensive. And that's why I really appreciate the Spark Trix and the fact that they spent some time updating it as well. Last thing on the Spark lineup is, how expensive is it? Well, if you go for the base Spark for 2 model, you're talking about $6,999 in the US. The base Spark Trix model is going to cost you $9,099 in the US. And then if you just want the Spark for 3 model, that's right in the middle, that's going to cost you $8,299. So again, for less than 10 grand, you can have all of these different Spark models, and they're gonna provide tons of fun for not too much money. But now we're gonna talk about some other models which are a little bit more expensive, because SeaDoo for 2024 has boosted its performance lineup, and the headline is 325 horsepower. Both the RXT-X and the RXP-X will now receive the Rotax 1630 Ace 3-cylinder engine, which, like I said, puts out 325 horsepower. Now, a host of changes have arrived to the engine to be able to get it up to that power output. Internally, there is a more robust cylinder block and crankshaft improvements paired with new coated pistons and forged rocker arms, all of which bring an increase in peak RPM from 8,000 to 8,250. So just that little boost in RPM is one of the reasons why we're getting more power. SeaDoo also says the air intake system was revised with a new intake grate and a larger diameter intake hose, so this engine can now also breathe better. But the most important part of the power boost is a new supercharger design that features a booster with a planetary gear drive for improved lubrication. This allows, according to SeaDoo, for faster rotation, increased efficiency of boost production, and even a new sound, which they say is better than ever. So what is the resulting performance of 325 horsepower? Once again, according to SeaDoo, these models can do 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.4 seconds, making them the quickest PWCs on the market right now. If you're wondering what the difference is, well, SeaDoo says the RXT-X is a little bit wider and it uses the Deep V ST3 hull, which brings down your center of gravity. But for ultimate performance, you want to go for the RXP-X, which is a little bit narrower, and it uses the Ultra Deep V design, cutting into the water even more. So if you want outright performance, RXP-X is the machine for you. If you want a machine with crazy power, but a little bit more slow speed stability because of that width, you want to go for the RXT-X. Now there's one other announcement as well for the 2024 performance lineup, and that is the fact that the GTR-X now receives a 300 horsepower engine. So that's a more affordable model, which now offers more power. Now the engine changes and the addition of all that power, those are the real modifications for 2024. Besides that, most of the features stay the same, but there are a ton of features available. Things like a 100-watt onboard audio system. Now that is standard on the RXT-X, but it's available from the factory on the GTR, the GTR-X, and the RXP-X, so again, you can take your music with you. SeaDoo models, they haven't changed their storage, so on all of these performance models, the handlebars actually lift up to reveal the storage bin. On the RXT-X, you have 25.3 gallons of storage, and the best part is, because of the design, you can reach it from a seated position, which is really handy. No more kind of standing up and leaning over your handlebars. You have reconfigurable Ergo-Lock seating. So Can-Am, or I should say SeaDoo, calls it Ergo-Lock, and that allows you to really kind of squeeze your legs on the seat. It's those contoured seats. That's what Ergo-Lock is all about. And then the fact that they're reconfigurable, you can go from a 3-seat configuration down to a 1-seat configuration if you want, depending on what you're doing out on the water. Now, specifically on the RXT-X and on the GTR, riders can quickly change from that 3-seat configuration to a flat lounge area where 2 people will actually face each other with a little table in the middle. So if you're going out on the water for a picnic, you can now enjoy that right on your watercraft. On the flip side, the RXP-X is focused on performance, so that thing gets the race-minded Ergo-Lock R cockpit, and it has a couple of features which add to that high performance. Probably the most important one is a steering damper that was just added in 2023, but it really helps to lock in that steering at super high speeds, so you're not all over the place with your hands and you're not fighting the handlebars at all because you have that damper on there. All of these models can also be had with a 7.8-inch wide LCD display. Like the other displays, this one is backlit, so you can see it in all lighting conditions. Now, it's standard on the RXT-X, but it can be added from the factory on the RXP-X and on the GTR. Now let's talk about pricing on all of these performance models. So starting with the GTR, this is the most affordable performance model. It starts at $14,099 in the US, and that brand new GTR X 300 now starts at $16,999 in the US. Now looking at the top end performance models, the RXP-X is gonna cost you $19,199 in the US. And yes, that is with 325 horsepower. And then the RXT-X is the most expensive performance model, topping out at $19,999, so 20 grand in the US for the top performance SeaDoo model. So that is it on the SeaDoo performance lineup as well. Clearly for 2024, the focus is just more power. They already have great features, good storage, so they just looked at the engine and said, how can we crank this thing up? And they absolutely did it. And I'm sure that 325 horsepower feels even crazier than 300 did. And trust me, 300 was already pretty nuts. So that's it on changes to the 2024 SeaDoo lineup. Of course, they're still offering a full lineup of machines from the Adventure Pro to the Fish Pro. So really, if you want a different look at PWCs, SeaDoo has it across their lineup, depending on what you're going for. Now there's another machine that we have to talk about, or another watercraft we have to talk about, and that is the SeaDoo Switch, because for 2024, SeaDoo has unveiled the SeaDoo Switch Cruise Limited. The Limited model is basically a package that looks to bring together a whole bunch of new luxury technology and convenience features. So if you go for the Cruise Limited, this is a 21-foot long boat, and it gets the 230 horsepower powertrain. Now for features, you're getting an upgraded 10.25-inch touchscreen, a premium JL audio system, a Garmin 7-inch GPS with a depth finder, and a premium captain's chair with adjustable ergonomics, additional seating, and a full swim platform. So it sounds like SeaDoo looked at a lot of the features that people were already taking and including on their pontoons and decided to put together this package to offer them all in one. The last part of the package is unique styling. There's unique colorations, unique interior lighting, and some limited badging to set yourself apart from the rest of the Switch lineup. So if you do go for the Switch Cruise Limited, what's it gonna cost you? Well, this thing won't come cheap. It has a starting price in the US of $50,999, but that's basically the top end of the Switch lineup with all of the features into it, so you are gonna pay for it. And for 2024, the Switch in the US starts at the base at $23,699. So it's a big price gap from base all the way up to the top end, and you can really find a Switch that works for you in terms of the different lengths and the different powertrains. So folks, that's it for this video. What can you say? I'm excited about the updates to the 2024 SeaDoo lineup. It's always nice to get more power. And I think most importantly these days, I like it when they update their most affordable models because let's face it, prices are getting out of control. So it's nice that the Spark, something that most of us can actually afford, is getting some love, some new features. It's more playful now, and I can't wait to get it out on the water and actually feel what it does. So, like I said, that's it for this one. Please now go in the comments, let me know what you think about the changes to the entire 2024 SeaDoo lineup. As always, while you're down below, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of TK Power Sports, and then come right back here to the channel to see what we're testing next. See ya.